We're waiting. You're up.
You're that girl.
We have to get Ross out there now.
I have heard some very rich conversations this afternoon, talking about what your big ideas are. Even if they're not, we have some mixed content over here with social studies and English language arts, and especially in the electives where they're all coming from a little bit different perspective, and talking about what their big concepts mean and the overarching essential questions. And misconceptions as well. So I'm wondering if any, if you have any thoughts about how this process was for you. Do we have any people who would feel free or comfortable just sharing? Jean?
I thought it was very helpful to sit around, not just with our team, but having the energy from everybody else doing the same thing in the room. I think, and the time limits and pushing forward. I think it was a great concept, a great way to really kind of move forward in some ideas and stuff.
So that was helpful.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for all of that energy that generates percolates up a lot of ideas that come about. Any other comments that you would like to share? This was like a lightning round. I mean, it was pretty quick. So in your content planning where you have a full 40 or 50 minutes, you'd have more time to really get deeper into these. So this was to get you familiar with the process. All right. I've given you a ticket out the door to reflect upon the process that we used today. So please make sure to drop those off before you leave. I just want to segue into what we'll be talking about next, because at the very end of that thinking about assessments, what your performance assessment might look like, we really haven't talked too much about what a performance task is. What goes into that? What are we thinking about as we're planning those? So I thought it would be helpful for you to see what McTighe and Wiggins has defined as a performance task. And it's a challenge that mirrors or is very similar to a real life or a simulated adult experience that you would have, perhaps in your work life. And it could be short-term, almost like a formative task or a formative assessment. It could be a culminating one at the end. So that's where we talk about long-term or multi-stage projects. And you might have one project, you might have product, you might have multiple performances. They are different than the academic prompts. And we have included and really practiced a lot of academic prompts here. But these are qualitatively different. So we'll be getting into those at the end of the month. What a performance task look like, what goes into putting one together. Okay? Do we have, before we close, and we let you go on with your great thinking for the weekend, do you have any questions or comments before we close out?
Since it's a ticket out, we have to use complete sentences in our answers.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take my 2 out of 5.
Thank you.
Chairs. Chairs and desks.
That's right.
Oh, yes, and thank you, and I would like to thank you in advance for returning your desk and putting your chairs into the desk the way you found them in Mr.
Well,
Fletcher's.
3 rows,
Thank you so
three's
much
on the
for
front,
being
then
so
4 and 4.
Thank you very much,
School, I
Mr.
want
Fletcher.
nothing. I want to get some ideas.